chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Technology and Engineering Management Society TEMS chapter of IEEE Delhi section, System Man and Cybernetics SMC Society chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Communication Society of IEEE Delhi section, Consultants Network Affinity CNA Group of IEEE Delhi section, Life Member Affinity LMA Group of IEEE Delhi section, Inter-Society Relations IRS Standing Committee of IEEE Delhi section, Industry Relations and Special Interest Group on Humanitarian Technology, Site Standing Committee of IEEE Delhi section, Region 10 of IEEE with the Associations Computer Society of India CSI, Institute of Information Technology Professionals IITP, ISTE Delhi section and IETE Delhi Center as technical collaborators welcomes you all to the IEEE IETE BVI CAM Technical Lecture Series on Generative AI, Anatomy of Prompt Engineering. With immense pride and honor, we are delighted to announce that we, with united hands, mark special contribution for the monumental occasion, Golden Jubilee celebrations of the IEEE Delhi section. From 13th May 2025 to 12th May 2026, we mark 50 years of this vibrant and pioneering section, a journey that began in 1976 and has since shaped the technological and professional landscape of Northern India through innovation, collaboration, and learning. This webinar is also an initiative to celebrate this legacy. According to August A. Akar, prompt engineering has taken the generative AI world by storm. The job, which entails optimizing textual input to effectively communicate with large language models, has been hailed by World Economic Forum as the #1 job of the future, while OpenAI CEO Sam Altman characterized it as an amazingly high leverage skill. Generative AI is like a horse. We do not need to race it, but ride on it. Prompt engineering is like horse riding in the Gen AI world with LLMs. In this session, we will cover prompt engineering, various types of prompts and their relative advantages. We will demonstrate this with the example of short Python programs. The agenda for this session would be as follows. Learn prompt anatomy, learn various prompt engineering techniques, for example, zero-shot programming, few-shot prompting, chain of thought prompting, react prompting, role prompting, instruction plus output formatting prompting, few-shot chain thought of prompting, self-consistency prompting, and last but not the least, function calling with LLM APIs. We also will have a demo of a weatherboard in Python. I would first take this opportunity to welcome amongst us our distinguished panelists for the day. We are privileged to have amongst us a galaxy of experts. I would first welcome amongst us our expert speaker, Mr. Anil Pathak sir, with an e-bouquet. Welcome to the session, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ritika. It's my pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Anil Pathak sir is an executive committee member of the IEEE Delhi section with over 3 decades of software engineering industry experience. He has an experience of association with leading product and services organization in the capacity of AI, ML, Gen AI, cloud practices, and delivery head. Sir has traveled widely, managed and delivered a large number of programs for Fortune 500 customers across the globe, the USA, UK, Canada, France, China, Japan, South Korea, and India. Apart from being a technocrat, Anil sir also possesses an MBA degree from MDI Gurgaon and UGC NET certification. Sir has a passion for technology and knowledge dissemination. We are honored to have you amongst us, sir, today, and I would now request you to kindly enlighten the house. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ritika. Thank you for giving me this opportunity I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
And thank you, Professor Bhatia, for joining in. And thank you for all the participants for giving your 1 hour on Saturday evening. Much appreciated. I know I can see on chat one of the candidate is asking to speak in Hindi. Sure, we can use in between, but primarily the mode of this would be in English. But Samarth, I mean, you can connect me later on, and I can have a special session with you to kind of clarify doubts in Hindi. But yeah, in this session, mainly we would be speaking the language what have been asked to follow. Okay, so just to give a little background before I get into, so I think Gen AI, everybody is aware, is a new talk of the town, and I think is changing its pace, shape every day, every week. So with that idea, we thought and we discussed with Professor Oda, Dr. Itika, that why don't we have a series every month where we pick up a topic on Gen AI and talk about in a very structured way. So in that series, this session would focus on the prompt engineering, followed by RAG, and then bots, and so on and so forth. So we would also be publishing the agenda for next 10 sessions also so that we can plan. So that's a little background. Now, while I'll be opening the PPT, uh, so this has been made with little hands-on exercise because I'm assuming many of the people who are joining the session are aware about little bit coding or hands-on because the real fun of Gen AI is actually doing with your hands, right? But I understand that some of us may not be doing coding right now, so I'll also try to make it little verbose so that those members don't feel left out. So with that background, let me share my screen. Just give me a moment. And okay. Let me know when my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. The screen is visible.
And I'll be showing two screens. One, this screen of Gamma app, and the second, our Python IDE environment, right, which is idle. Okay. So that whatever I'll teach, I'll also demonstrate you with the help of a short program. But again, not to scare you, those programs are not very big, very simple. And Python is an English kind of language. So don't get me that we are getting into very deep programming. It's not. So it's just to help us understand better. Okay. And the purpose of using this Gamma app is also to show you how we can use Gen AI in our daily life. At least for last month or two, I've stopped using Microsoft PowerPoint. I have switched to this Gamma app and it has become so much productive for me. If time permits, maybe in last 5 minutes, I'll show you how this app is so productive in saving number of hours for me. And there are so many tools also. Okay. So with that, let's get to this agenda for this. Okay. So this is the broad flow of these next 50 minutes. We'll talk about introduction to prompt engineering or prompt anatomy, followed by various techniques. And these would be at a two level. One would be at a framework level. There are frameworks available in terms of arrays, plan, task. There are many frameworks available. And then specific techniques in terms of one shot, multiple shot, chain of thought, react. So we'll also talk about that. That would be initially significant number of time, 25 minutes. Then a special case of function calling. That is the real beauty where we will demonstrate how with the help of various LLMs and we can have function calling where we can integrate this LLMs with the various third-party uh, interfaces, in this case, weather, to make a innovative applications. And then we would switch on to a real life applications by which we can use this prompt engineering and takeaways. So that's a broad framework. Okay, and then please continue putting your questions if you want, and then we'll take up in the end. Okay. So without further ado, let's go to the take little time to switch the screen. Okay. Okay. So I think as Professor Ritika mentioned, I mean, that is one definition I came up with. I treat Gen AI like a horse. So I'll give a quick story. A month back, I was in a one institution, I think NSUT, and I was giving a lecture over there. And then in the end, a lot of students came over there and kept asking me, sir, what would happen to this Gen AI? Would there be impact on us? Would there be impact on jobs, etc.? So there is excitement also, and there's a fear that would Gen AI take away our jobs? So in my view, my answer was, and that's what I'm explaining here, I think we don't need to fear with the Gen AI. It's kind of a horse. If we try to compete with it, obviously we would not. So rather than competing it with, I think we need to ride this horse, right? Ride this wave of Gen AI. And as everybody of us who wants to ride the horse learns horse riding, similarly, we need to also learn this Gen AI. And to ride on this Gen AI, prompt engineering is the tool by which we can interface with Gen AI and the various underlying LLMs. So that is basically, in my view, the definition of prompt engineering. In other words, we can also say it is a language, and again, it's art and science, how we interface with Gen AI, how we give various inputs and commands of this. And then the application of this are many in chatbot, various coding, various RAG models, various agents. So there we'll see the use of prompt engineering. As simple as that, various application like ChatGPT or a Gemini, we can also see how the framework of this prompt engineering applies over there. And also in a Python programming, we can see how to use this prompt engineering. So with that background, let's go to our next slide. Okay. I think let me go back. Since there is a delay, okay, yeah. So before we understand deep onto various prompt engineering techniques, let's understand what is a good prompt and what is not so good prompt. I think as the example given on the left is not very good prompt because it's very, very open-ended, right? Like tell me about AI. It's very, very open-ended. But on the right side, the example which we have given, we are explaining in detail that what are our expectations, like explain the concept of prompt engineering with a specific audience mention and various examples. So it is little more clear that what we are expecting from this prompt, right? So in that way, the right prompt is considered a better than what on the left. And then we'll see in the examples how these better prompts can be made. Okay. So these are three at a high level frameworks, and then we'll get into the specific techniques. There are many frameworks available, but this framework is based on the role. It's called RACE framework, right? And RACE stands for role, action, context, and expectation. So what we are doing here, while we are drafting any prompt, we are telling LLM or GenAI that who you are, what is your role? Are you a doctor? Are you a lawyer? Are you a police officer? Who you are, right? And then act on it. And then you are giving a specific action that what you're expecting. And then that action is not in a space. It has a context to it. So you give a context also. And then you also tell the expectation that what you're expecting. For example, if you're expecting any specific Word document, what would be its length, etc., etc. And then, for example, let's see, let me also copy this and put that in a chat GPT prompt, for example, right? So I've just copied this and now I'll give this prompt. So here what we are doing, and this is gonna be very high level, as I mentioned, to cater to both the audience. But then the initial 3 slides we are talking about at a generic level, then we get to the specific code examples also. So please bear with me, who may think this is at very, very high level, but then this is just to set the tone in the beginning. Okay. So here, many of us use Chat GPT or Gemini. This is the way, one of the way by which we can get the better output. So what we have done, we have defined the role as a marketing expert, right? Draft a compelling social media post. You are giving a context that to which audience you want the post, and then you are giving a expectations, right? So see, it has come up. What has been asked specifically? Since we asked for 200 characters, it came up with those posts, right? So it worked. And with this, the better chances would be you would be able to get your output, what you're expecting, in a single shot, rather than trying multiple shots or multiple prompts and kind of wasting your resources and the resources at the back end also. Okay. So I hope this race framework is understood. Here, the focus is more on the role. Now, let's come to the next framework, which is a task framework. So here, the focus is more on the task, that what you are expecting GenAI to do. So here you are telling the task, then you are getting to the specific audience, which this task would cater to. Then here you're talking about the style, the language, right? It's a formal or conversational, narrative, those kind of a thing. And then a kind of a knowledge, right? So let's take up this example to demonstrate the point. Take a minute, copy this. Okay. So I've copied this. Let's use that in this. So in a same post, let me paste it. So now we have asked specifically task where we were asking a blog post for a audience of a small business owner. And now here we are talking about 500 words. So we got the output as we were expecting. So this is another framework. So just to kind of reiterate, earlier the focus was on the role, but here the focus was on the task. Okay. And if we learn it, we can use in our daily life also, right? This way it will be more efficient. And then the third one is more as a reason based. Here, what we are saying, we are giving a region first, right? And then specifically action, and then various observations to be followed, and then what answer we expecting. So here, just to understand, suppose we are a travel planning assistant, and then give a reason, think step by step for itinerary for a Paris, and then action search for a top attractions, observation, note which are family friendly, and give a final 3-day plan with the timing, right? So let's see if we give this post or this prompt, how it will work. It would take little longer because here we are asking LLM to do a lot of search on the net. So I think it will take a while, it'll take a little time. So while it will do for us to utilize our time better, let's go further and we'll come back over here. We'll see, right? But it'll take a few seconds to a minutes. Okay. So far, these were our 3 high-level frameworks at a very, very high level. And these can be very useful for our daily interactions on a various chat GPT or a Gemini or the thing. Now changing gear, now we are getting into little a programming way. And here, what we'll use our Python framework or Python IDE environment. And here, what we are saying, suppose we want to translate a text from English to Hindi, right? And here we are using a model GPT-4o mini. So why we are using GPT-4o mini? Because it's a free, right? It's a free. And this model is dated little old, 2023. So some of the responses may not be accurate. And then it's a very simple program, right? Let's see, let's execute it. Let me open that and then we'll, if anybody is interested how to set it up, because there are some other aspects before calling this LLM API, something you need to do, which obviously I have not shown over here. For example, we are importing the OS and then this API key we need to define. So if somebody is interested about that, you can contact me, but or just Google it. Before using any model, right, we need to make a key. So here we are using a OpenAI model. So I have separately defined, make my registration there, got my key, saved my key in an environment. And since that key is confidential, I am just calling it by this method. And then just a few lines program, very simple program. So let's see. Let's run this. Okay. There are many environments available in the market, right? There's a Visio Code, this is Idle, there is a Google Colab, right? So we can use any. I've just used this one. Since this is a free model, it takes few seconds before we get the answer, but we would get it. And I'll request everybody who are the developers over here, try that, build their own. See, so we have got the response, right? We have given the English text, and this has converted us into a Hindi. Here we give a single shot. Whatever we wanted, we given a single shot. No here and there. So it has its own advantage and disadvantage. I mean, it's simple. But then we'll see with the other examples that how those can be a better. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Zero shot. Then comes the next one. Then comes is our few shots. So rather than as a single shot, here is a few shot. Here what we are doing, we are telling, we are showing it some examples. Like we gave example of good morning, how it's translated. Then how are you, how it's translated. Then we are kind of guiding our LLM, our model over here, like a kid, right? That what I'm expecting. So let's see how this program runs in our idle environment. Okay. I know some of you may find this is very basic, And but I need to be sensitive to all the. I think I know there are many developers or first year or second year students who have just started with the program. So I'm just kind of uh, those who are expert over here needs to bear with me for that. But again, idea is that we take everybody together. Okay. But in the end, by the time we reach to a weather bot, I think those people who are expert in the field may find relevant for them also. Okay. So this is the same thing. Now we have put that into a Python program and run it. Okay. And so while we are waiting over there, the good part is this also give me a lot of chance to do programming myself. So I have been playing around with these. It has been a while in between with this all this lot of management stuff. You do not get a chance to code yourself, but at least now is giving me chance to try hands on myself. Okay. As I mentioned, this is free, so it takes time. Okay, we got an answer now. So this is the response we have got from our LLM. Okay, so now, so this is our, so the first one was one shot, and this is a few shots, second category of a prompting. Now let's move to the third one. Okay. Now comes the third one is our chain of thought. So gradually we'll see it'll become more interesting. So if you be with me, you'll find it's more interactive and more interesting. So here what we do, we kind of ask our LLM that you also show your chain of thoughts, what you are thinking, how you are coming to the answer. I'm not just looking for the answer. It is like in exam, like Professor Ritika would be aware. We don't ask only for the exam answer from a candidate. We say, no, this is a 5 marks question. You also give me a paragraph, how you got the answer. Give me all the steps. So this chain of thought prompt engineering asks about those steps. So let's see with the help of a program that how does it work. Okay. Let me open that. That was our third program, chain of thought. So here, so we'll do both. I'll first use, I will first use, yeah, temperature would come. The example of temperature would come in the later thing. I'll show you that also. Okay. So now here, let's see, let's run this simple prompt. Like if a train travels by 60 kilometer 1 hour, how much in 4 hours? And that's it. And then later on, we'll use the above prompt and then see the difference of these two, just to show you the, right now, the lower one is simpler, one shot. And then we'll use the other one and see the difference. Let's run this. Okay. So that we'll able to better appreciate the difference between both the prompts. It takes a little while because this is free. And yeah. So here, as you can see, we gave a one shot and we just got an answer. If a train travels by 60 kilometers 1 hour, we'll give this is the answer. Okay. Now let's change that. Let's change this. Now we'll use the first one, which is where we are giving a step by step. Let's run that. Okay. So now let's see the response on this. And here we'll see the chain of thought, how our model is thinking, and that answer should come. Okay. So while we are waiting for this answer, I purposefully came up with these programs and this environment so that I can demonstrate hands-on, because there are many of the people here are from a developer community. So here we can see it's the same prompt. It's just that we made a change. So now you can see the difference between one shot and this step by step. Here our model is giving the various steps, right? To find the distance. Now to determine how far it travels in 4 hours, we'll multiply by speed. We know the train travels 60 kilometers in 1 hour. We find the distance and multiply it. Right now, since our prompts are very simple, this may look very, very simplistic. But if our problem statement is large or complex, then this would make a difference, right? Because here our LLM is giving the answer on a step by step. Why we are picking simple examples? So that you can better appreciate the beauty of or the difference of these prompts. Okay. So I hope you understood this prompt chain of thought. With that, let's come our fourth prompt. React programming. So here we'll see the model is reactive in nature. It is working on one question and then based on the answer of that, it is reacting. So let's see with the example of this program to demonstrate it, React prompting. Okay. The last one was our, now open the React. Okay. Okay. So here first we are asking question, your helpful assistant, what is the color of an apple? And based on that, give another fruit name with the same color. So here we are doing reactive, right? Based on one answer, then you are asking our model to find the answer of other thing. So let's see how our model works on this prompt. Okay. While we are waiting for answer, just give me any thing. Are we okay or too slow or too fast? Or does this make any sense? I know you cannot speak, but maybe some uh, signage would help.
It's the right pace. It's wonderful. And
Okay.
for the
Okay.
examples,
Thank
the students can always refer to the session on our YouTube channel. It will be available there.
you. Okay, great. So as we can see, so it came up with this. The color of an apple can vary, but the common color is red. Another fruit that is typically the same color is cherry. So right now we have understood, right? It worked on a one answer, and then based on that color, came up with another fruit name. So this prompting is for React prompt. Okay, so we can also use that. Now let's move to the other technique. Okay, this is very, very interesting and very, very contextual and useful. And this is also matching with our earlier framework where we talk about the race framework, right? Where we define the role first. So this is very, very useful. So here, what you do, you tell our model that who you are. So in this case, we are defining the role of a LLM, that you are a doctor, and then show the critical operation. So let's see how this program works. And here, to explain this better, what I have done, taken two examples in a same program. Let me first open this and then to show how defining the role makes the output of that prompts different, right? Simple one word would make the output difference. So here, as you can see, the first one, we are saying you are a doctor and explain critical operation to beginner with an example. In the second thing, everything is same. It's just that you are a police officer because operation word is common, right? We have an operation in operation theater also, and we have an operation in a police operation, police officer as a police officer while we are doing some mission or something like that, right? So the answer would be different, right? So let's see the answer of a first prompt, and then we'll see the answer of second prompt, and we'll see the answers would vary. And hence, it is a very, very good thing that while we are interfacing with the models and LLM, it is always better to define who the model is, define the role, right? So let's see. So right now, we are expecting answer as a doctor or as a medical professional. Let's see what the answer of uh, this prompt would come. Since the output would be little large, it may take little time. So now output has come. Okay, let me magnify a bit. So here, so as you can see, in medical term, operation refers to a surgical procedure, as we were expecting. And now he has taken one example as a appendectomy, like removal of appendix, and then he has given the complete description about that operation, right? Now, to understand the concept better, let's open. I think we already have that open. Now, let me disable this or comment this. So I've commented the first one and now I'm uncommented the second one. And guys, Python is little funny. I mean, it's so fun to work with Python. So I would request everybody to download some environment and play around with that. Okay. So now we are doing the same prompt, but now the role is as a police officer. Okay. So here we would expect, since we have changed the role of a model, the answer would be accordingly. It'll take a few more seconds. As I mentioned, this is free. Okay, so now we can say in the context of a law enforcement officer, right? An operation is a combined effort by police and other agencies, right? Right. There's some question also came. I just saw them moved it. I'll definitely answer that, Murugan. Sure. Okay. So here, what we saw, since we gave example of a police officer, now is talking about in terms of a safe street, that how to make our street safe, and accordingly it has worked out it. So it is very, very important that while we are interfacing with LLM models, we define the role of it. Okay. Now, okay, let me now go back to our list. Okay, so far so good. We talked about one prompt, multiple prompt, defining role, React, right? These prompts we have learned so far. And before that, we learned various frameworks. Now moving further, is called instruction and output formatting. So at times we expect answer in a JSON format, or we want to take out the specific things out of a text. This is very, very useful while we are doing programming and especially in the function calling, because the thing we expect from LLM that we get the specific JSON format answers so that we can use that for storing in various variables or doing other function calling. So this is very, very important from that perspective, from a programming perspective. So let's look at this. So gradually we are changing the pace of it. We are getting into little more programming aspect of it, and we'll see. And now we are in the sixth, we are total 8, and then we have the last one over the function calling. Okay. So let's look at this. So here we'll see extract the following information and return in a JSON format. Name, age, city from this text, right? And then we'll actually gonna print it. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So yeah, so we are on a sixth prompt. We have two more prompts, and then we'll get to the our little advanced one, which is our function calling. Only issue with this using this free is that it takes little time. Okay, so see, we had given a text, right? And now the answer we have got in a JSON format. It is able to decipher that. The name of the person is this, the age is this, and the city is this. Now you can use this to pass on to the other functions and do whatever you want to do, any operations or printing, etc. Okay, so this is another very, very powerful prompt from a programming perspective. Okay, that is called instruction plus output formatting. Now we'll go into little advanced prompt techniques. So this prompt technique is few short chain of thoughts, right? So let's see here, we'll see is a few shorts, and also we'll see chain of thought. So combining both. Let's see how it works with the help of a program. So that is going to be our seventh one. So we have covered sixth and then seventh. Okay. So here, what we're saying, there's a question. If you have like very, very simple questions, if you have two apples and buy three more, how many apples would be total, right? Let's think step by step, and this is the answer. And based on this, you solve if you have 10 chocolates and eat four, how many left, right? So let's see. Okay. So this is our seventh prompt. After that, we have one more, and then we'll get into the weather bot, which is a function calling, and then we'll also compare a bit. And then last, if time permits, also I show you how this Gamma app, and I think some question also came about, I just didn't saw completely, about the temperature also, and about this uses of these prompts on the chat GPT and also in Python. So see, let's think step by step, and this is the answer we got, right? If they are 10, you consume 4, you'll be left with 6. So yeah, this is the answer we got. Now let's look at our last example. Our last prompt is, before we get to the function calling, that is called advanced prompt technique, and it's a self-consistency prompting. So here somebody asked about the temperature also, right? So here the temperature is being used in this program. So here what we are doing, we are passing a prompt and we are running it multiple times. Here, to make it simpler, we are running it 2 times. So for I in range 2, so this loop would run 2 times. In first, we'll give the same prompt in this, but the temperature randomness is on, right? And based on the temperature, answer of these would be different both the time. And then based on that, you'll pick one and give the answer, right? So you understand, somebody was asking about the temperature. So here we can set the temperature, and then use it while we passing on to the specific LLM. So let's open that. So it's called self-consistency, right? So what we are doing, we are giving LLM an option to run it multiple time, and based on that, give a one answer. They kind of evaluate that, right? So here we are using, if a pen costs 10 rupees, how much do 5 pen cost? Think step by step, right? So let's run it. It'll run 2 times, right? Let's see. Okay. And I think we are well in time because we have 15 minutes left and we have to one more advanced prompting function calling and then few Q&As and then about this gamma if the time permits. Okay. Since the loop would run 2 times, so it'll take little time. But I hope this is making sense. Okay. So I think let's understand that. And this is also important from the person who asked about the temperature also. So since we had put in the temperature as a random, right? So in the first attempt, this is the way it calculated our LLM. First, we know that 1 pen costs 10 rupees. To find how many 5 pen cost, we need to multiply by that. So we can take the cost of 1 pen, which is 10 rupees. And then it gave the answer like that. Therefore, 5 pens cost 50 rupees. In the second one, it was more structured, right? First of all, it was different. It is more structured to find out how much 5 pens cost, if 1 pen cost, blah, blah, blah. And then this is the explanation based on this. And out of these two, then finally our LLM choose this and give the answer. So this way, we can, two concepts over here. We can set the temperature and this also letting the LLM choose based of 2, 3 options, which answer it gives. So this is the example. This may look very trivial because the question is also very trivial. The question is also like simple multiplication. But had that been a complex question, right, then you will have better able to appreciate, right, that the difference of these. So, so far, we have covered, just to quickly recap, we have covered, like kind of quickly show. So we have covered 0 shot, we just give a 1 shot, few shots where we give few shots to make a prompt. Then we get a chain of thought where we get the answer and see how LLM is thinking. We have covered React, where we give a prompt, where we ask LLM to find the reason and then act on it. Then fifth, we got a role prompting, where we tell the LLM that who you are and accordingly. The sixth is an instruction output, where we get the output in a specific JSON format from a text. And the seventh is a combination of few chain of thoughts and showing the thought process. And eighth is a self-consistency, where we set the temperature and ask LLM to choose the best response based on that. So we have covered 8 prompting and then 3 frameworks, which was role-based and task-based and region-based. So 11 concepts we have learned so far. Now, let's come to the last one, which is very, very interesting. And that would be called a function calling. Okay. So basically, let me give a little context why there is a need for a function calling. See, LLMs are trained on a specific set of data. For example, this LLM which we are working is old LLM or old model is the right word, old model, right? Which has been trained till October 2023. So all the information it has is till October 2023. If you ask any questions which has happened after that, it would not have the information. For example, if I ask this LLM what is today's weather, this LLM would not be able to answer because this information is as of today, right? And especially in this time when the rains are happening in September, this is very unusual in Delhi, right? So, how to have the concept where we take a beauty of both the things, that we have LLM to do us this reasoning and then this modeling at the same time getting a latest data. There, this concept of a RAG and concept of a function calls comes, where you give a question in a text, pass on to the LLM, get some answer as a name of a function, and then you pass that response again in a LLM, and then call that as a third party API. So you are getting both the benefits. You are using a model also to decipher, and then using a third party, either a document or external APIs to get the latest data. So now I know this may not have understood completely, but once we see it, it'll be more clear because I have a live working example also for that. Okay. So let's see. So here the example we'll use is for a weather bot, right? And how to work on this? You first define a function, right? Which function you will be calling after the response of that prompt. Since we would be giving prompts related to the weather, we'll be giving prompt like what is the weather in Delhi. So most probably the response we're getting from our model, our LLM would be the function call of a get weather, right? So here we are defining the function of that. We'll also show in the live Python program also. So we have defined this, okay, which has a name and description and parameters. Then comes the next one. Okay. So here we have actually now defined our weather API function, where we are actually doing a third party integration with the open weather map. It's a third party, right? Again, some programming has been done off the screen. To get the key, you have to first register over there, get your key, set up the environment so that you can call that API. And then you make a call over there. And then I'm just flipping it so that I'll actually show you in the live code itself, right? Then here you actually make a function call. Now I think let's get to the code because that's the real fun. And this would be our live bot also in that way, right? So it is kind of our bot. Let's open that. So this is the bot. So it's actually a bot, and it's very simple. If the person like me who has been in the management for 2-3 decades is able to do this much of programming, then it's very simple, right? It's very simple. So just to spend a few more minutes, and I think we may get till 7:05. I know we have another engagement at 7, but I'll take 5 more minutes, ma'am, and then to complete it. So as I was saying, here we have one API from OpenAI. We have defined one more API from Open Weather App, right? So you have to get the API. You have defined the function call of weather, right? And then you have defined the schema. That is the definition, that is the schema. And here you are making a bot. You are running it in a loop so that you can ask the question from the person who is asking information about the weather. And you call this, whatever input you get. So you'll be giving, for example, tell me the weather of Delhi. So that prompt you are giving into this, our GPT-4o mini model. And then you'll be getting the name of the function and the various parameters. And after that, Yes, yes, same. Same, absolutely. And then you are passing that function. If the function name is get weather, then you pass it over here. It's called parameter passing, and then get the answer. So that is a basic framework, and I can share these with you, or you can connect me and I can give you these programs. And these are widely available on that. So let's run the beauty of this. Beauty of this would come in running. So, okay. So let's see. So here, yeah, I can share our Python files with you also. Okay. So I hope you are able to see. I hope that visible? It's in the bottom one, right? Uh, Ask about the weather. I hope that is visible, right? It is on the bottom. Dr. Ritika, is that visible? Anil, weather. Okay, it's visible, right? So here we can ask any prompt. Let's say, uh, tell me the weather of Delhi. See, the beauty is this, whatever, you can make a spelling mistake, you can write in a very verbose language, because that is the beauty of LLM, that it will use that our input and output. See, the answer it has given. The current weather in Delhi is approximately 26.3, right? We can ask more. Would it rain today? So you are seeing, oh, now it's very fast. To provide you accurate information, could you tell me your city you are in? So, okay. So it's giving me, uh, yeah, current temperature. If I can ask specifically, would it rain in Jaipur today? So here multiple things are working, right? Here our model is working, and then it is passing those JSON prompt to our weather API. It is getting the answer from there. As I mentioned, it is little free. Then there are two calls. We are making model, and then we are also passing it to our third party also. It will come. So while we are waiting for the answer of that, we are okay. Today in Jaipur, the weather is this with broken cloud, but there doesn't seem to be any indication of a rain. So see, so this was just an example, and we can create number of bots, and this function calling. So this is very powerful, where we are combining our LLM models and also various third party, and with that you can make your own board. Okay, I hope I could explain that. This was little complex, but I hope. And then little explanation about that, various steps. We define a query, LLM processing, getting the function execution, and the response. So that was the framework to make the function calling work. And then we have to take a few precautions while doing a function calling. We need to have a clear function descriptions. We have to validation of the parameters. We need to have a error handling. And then we can also provide a multiple function, because in this case, the response was only one, whether, but it could be multiple, right? And then accordingly, you have to have a multiple functions, right? And then, so we are kind of now summarizing, and with that, we can make a multiple apps, right? So in this session, I'm expecting all those people who are desire to make a hands-on. So you can make many bots, right? Customer service bots, various weather checking bots, share market bots. A lot of these bots you can make your own, right? Multiple application we can use. And now, kind of summarizing it. Take a minute. Okay. So now the key takeaways: prompt engineering is important, is essential, because we have seen what you ask, how you ask, in what format you ask, of prompt you ask, you get the same answer, or you get a different answer as per that, right? So prompt engineering is initial. Choose your various techniques, right? We talked about various frameworks and various prompt techniques. So use as per that. Function calling, extend the capability. Our current LLM was only trained till October 2023, but it is able to answer the latest weather information with this function calling concept. And of course, practice is the key. And in a quick 45 minutes, we trained 11 programs, right? So with that, it'll also give you motivation to try yourself. So that brings to the end of this session. So thank you. Let me now stop sharing and we can see one or two questions. I know, Dr. Ritika, a few questions came in between and we can answer that. But yeah, before that, over to you. That this concludes my session and we'll take the questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session, the beauty with which you have explained, and you have even done it. So that has been wonderful. We know you have another engagement. So the questions we will reserve. Just one question I'd like you to answer before you leave.
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah, I
what
think there were
would
one or two
be...
questions I can. Yeah, please.
Yes,
Sorry.
sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So the participants would like to know that what is the actual difference between this prompt engineering if done directly on tool like GPT, etc., and if done through this Python querying. So
Same.
what will be
See,
the
end of the
difference?
day, yeah, yeah, understood it. So it's both. First of all, the various frameworks which I taught, those frameworks can very well be used in a chat GPT, etc. And these specific prompt things can be done in the code. End of the day, chat GPT also use a LLM model beneath it, right? So it's all about how you interface to the model. So that's what we are talking. So answer is that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. And the participants, as well as me myself, we would be waiting for the next session of the series. So please accept the certificate from our side as a token of remembrance for this wonderful session today.
Thank you, Dr. Ritika. And I know many people joined and they gave me 1 hour of their time. So that is much appreciated. And as I said in the beginning, we would be having a similar session every month. And next time, probably we'll talk about the rack and then so on and so forth. And anybody
Sure.
can reach me. And if somebody wants to deep dive, I'll be happy to do that. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Please also accept this e-memento. Thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule and joining us today, despite the fact that you have another lecture planned at the same moment.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
Thank you,
dropping.
sir.
Bye. Bye.
So, dear participants, this was our first session on generative AI prompt engineering, and it has been a wonderful session. We have come to the end to this session, and with a promise that we'll be having more such sessions in the future. The feedback link for this particular session has already been shared in the chat window with all the participants. Dear participants, feedback link for this particular session has already been shared in the chat window. Please click on the same, fill in your details, and generate